Yo, 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 yo. What's up, all you burners, stoners, and potheads out there? This is Weedman 420 with the Weedman 420 Chronicles. How are all you vipers doing out there? Mrs. Weedman.
Mr. Weedman.
How the hell are you?
Excellent.
Because you're holding Yuki.
I am. She's the show's mascot now. Miss Yuki. She's very sweet.
It is the first show starring Yuki.
She's a complete nut. Her personality has transformed in like 48 hours from a little nervous baby to a little wild woman.
Oh, man.
She's fun.
We picked her up on Friday when we showed everyone in the world the pictures, and after Friday, it's been like she's been with us for months. And she's only been with us for 2 days.
Yep. Training a puppy is a lot of work.
It's been a while since we had a puppy. She's so cute.
Interrupted sleep and work and everything in between.
Yeah.
But it's okay.
Yeah, it's been fun.
We'll get through it.
Yes.
We'll survive.
Yuki, the mascot.
Yep.
We love her.
She's here to stay.
Yep. So everyone, hopefully everyone's doing well out there in the world. I am going to read a quick email from a friend of the show's in Australia. His name is Terry Mansfield. Good friend of the show, really loves our show, and we really appreciate him listening and sends us a lot of pictures of his grow, of his dogs, just everything. He's just a great, great friend of the show, I guess, and I can't wait to one day go to Australia and meet him and smoke a big fat doink with him. So, but he's got a friend, and I'm going to read this email of how cannabis helped his buddy, okay? Okay, so it was months ago now, but I was driving home from work, and a close friend reached out to me regarding our friend Sonny. It turned out that our mate Sonny had been out on one of his fishing adventures and had a terrible car accident driving from a fishing spot to his camp spot. See, Sonny travels around living in his car, fishing at all the best places around Australia, between working in Sydney, etc. He is the chillest guy, loves the ocean, and the lifestyle, and loves his cannabis. So Sonny's from Sydney, where all his immediate family and friends are located. His accident happened in Western Australia, north of Perth, about 1,200 kilometers in the mid-COVID lockdowns, and couldn't fly home, and he was a flight risk with injuries and COVID-19. So he was stuck in Perth. No one can visit him, or could he leave to go home. So he had nothing, and none was about 600 kilometers from his world. 6,000 kilometers from his world. My best mate rang and told me all about this. And I was now Sonny's only contact. Nice, Terry. And all of this is when his mental health was becoming more and more fragile, having the thought of total isolation with strangers in the hospital, and what must be the worst thing. Oh my fucking God, it's insane to think. So I finally got hold of the hospital and Sonny. Hey, Sonny, it's Terry. What happened, mate? So Sonny said to me, I was fishing and I packed up and headed back to my camp. Silence. I asked him, that's all I can remember, bro. All I can remember is waking up here in the hospital. I woke up in the emergency room with 2 collapsed lungs, bleeding in the brain. Had a tracheotomy, broke my neck C4, C5, and broke my back at T4. Holy hell, is it all I could think? And then what do I do was my next thought. So I went that afternoon to see him and just got a grip off it all and of what I could do to help. So after the first visit, he asked me, please get me some greens. But he couldn't smoke with his lungs being collapsed, so I bought him some bottles of CBD oil for sleeping at night and nerve pain. From the day, I got him some THC CBD mix, 1-to-1 ratio. This was so good, he said, that the spasms that he would consistently be going through in his spine and legs, then to nearly complete stopping his spine cord pain, just as the difference between hard drugs and trying to sleep with spasms, and the burying nerves was gone with the oils. And after a few weeks, he started to wake his legs up through the physio and constant will he has to overcome so much. I eventually would sneak flour in when his lungs were strong enough for a few puffs of a fat doink. Hell yeah, Terry. Mentally, he said he would not like to know how behind he would be in his recovery without having cannabis. He has now been able to fly home and reunite with his family and friends who have all helped him amazingly. He still has minimal movement in his areas and getting better every day. I've reached out to him to get some info to help you with the artery for your guys and show. He has now set up a car and with hand controls and started to get ready for his fishing again. Hell yeah. I'm flying myself to Western Australia to Queensland to see my family. Then we both have organized a road trip, a fishing trip with him to get him out and get back on being the happy Sonny we know. Just another beautiful experience with cannabis. Thanks, Tez. Appreciate you, brother.
That's
That was a
awesome.
great story. Great for helping your friend Sonny out, and I love it. I love it. I'm going to smoke for a minute, and while Mrs. Weedman talks, because I haven't smoked yet, and Mrs. Weedman ain't an edible because she still has a little bit of a respiratory infection. So I'm going to hit this real quick, and Mrs. Weedman going to say something. Say hello, Mrs. Weedman.
I had another one of those resin gummies that I ate for last week's episode. They're super delicious. So, yep, we've got another article on the future of cannabis being female. Data shows that women consume significantly more cannabis than men. It isn't surprising considering that women are plagued by so much more stress these days. Parenthood in general, being the breadwinner, managing the household, pregnancy, child rearing, career growth, and so much more. On top of that, women also suffer from anxiety, as well as gender-specific conditions, including endometriosis, menopause, and much more, all of which cannabis has been proven to help with. Market research firm Brightfield Group released data in 2021 revealing that women make up 59% of new cannabis consumers. The data also showed that women tend to be of younger age and consume more than men. Meanwhile, they also found that the market share of women continued to rise gradually in 2020. The future of cannabis is female, says Bethany Gomez, Brightfield Group's managing director. She explains that because of changing public attitudes together with more sophisticated packaging and design, women are increasingly becoming attracted to cannabis. It's more acceptable, more compact, and packaged in a way that's more feminine, she said. But why aren't there more women working in cannabis? The cannabis industry has a reputation for being progressive, though there is no doubt it's heavily operated by white males. Having said that, you will find many strong women in cannabis who are excellent examples of entrepreneurship and leadership rolled into one. Back in 2017, Marijuana Business Daily published a report called Women and Minorities in the Marijuana Industry. It detailed that 37% of individuals in executive roles in the industry back then were women. The sad news is that this number has declined to 22%. Though these figures similarly reflect what's going on in other industries, we've talked about this on other episodes before, many have been disappointed that the cannabis industry isn't doing better. According to MJ Biz, one of the reasons why the number of women and minorities in the higher rank decrease is because white men came into the picture and provided established access to capital so that companies could grow faster. Additionally, executives from mainstream industries also chose to join the cannabis industry, resulting in the white male's quicker rise to power. Social equity initiatives and cannabis legalization are now intertwined, but there is still no magic bullet to improve the landscape, says Janelle Stelton Holtmeyer, MJ Biz Daily Report editor. It is encouraging, however, to see new markets wanting to improve upon the programs that came before and older marketing attempts to fill the gaps that still exist. Few states provide robust data concerning ownership demographics, and those that do provide data based on different classifications. As a result, MJ Biz Daily's data team extracted a sample of data from select markets to provide a snapshot across the industry, the report said. Stelton Holtmeyer did say that since the first report in 2017, there have been some notable improvements, such as the fact that people with previous drug convictions are no longer penalized. In the past, this was a major barrier for them to own a cannabis business. It's obvious that there needs to be more women in the rooms where big decisions on cannabis business are being made. Yet women are still criticized and stigmatized for choosing to focus on their careers. And the stigma gets even worse when women decide to prioritize a business regarding what is still a Schedule I substance in the United States. Women are required to have thick skin to navigate a male-led industry, having to hear ruthless comments about your career path you've chosen as to why and get one foot in the door. Because of this, many women are hesitant to associate themselves with THC products, and you'll find many women in CBD instead. But that doesn't mean the opportunities are limited. You just need to know where to find them and break the glass ceiling. Women have been able to enter the cannabis industry through several channels, especially in dispensaries, wellness, cultivation, cooking, and writing. But that isn't where it ends. Women still need the support of other women and have peace of mind, knowing that there is adequate business for everyone in the room. The good news is that things are changing in this aspect. It's critical and essential for the cannabis industry to be inclusive, diverse, and equal. There should be a plan in every cannabis company to ensure diversity all the way from leadership down to product. In every industry, women continually have to do the work and fight for equality while having time for family at the end of the day. No one has time for it all, but women have to prioritize what's important to them. For any cannabis business selling a product or service, remember that all types of diversity should be available. The gender gap can be closed in many aspects with the cannabis industry, especially when it comes to capital access, board representation, C-suite representation, equity ownership, and of course, equal pay. There is still much more room for improvement in all of these areas for both business owners as well as employees who want to further their careers in cannabis. We can start with pouring more money towards research designed to track changes in gender parity. It's also crucial for women in all levels to have improved access to mentorship. These are among the many changes that can be done across all levels to improve equality and access for women in the cannabis industry. It's important because women can provide tremendous value to the cannabis industry. It's no secret that women improve company culture thanks to their intuition, intelligence, empathy, and communication skills. When you put female leaders in cannabis businesses, it can only do more good. And that, my friends, is Yuki. She's snoring. I put her to sleep.
I am smoking some jet fuel right now, and boy, oh boy. I think I smoked this on the show like long time ago, like early stages of the show, and someone gave me this, and I hadn't smoked in a while. I forgot this was a heavy-hitting sativa, about 70%, 30% indica. Yeah, it's a cross between Aspen OG and High Country Diesel strains. It's man, it's hit me right behind the eyes. I'll tell you what, the jet fuel high smashes you with an immediate effect felt in the forehead. You'll feel euphoric and uplifted with a sense of tingy cerebral energy that can leave you super giggly at times. As your mind soars through the clouds, your body will succumb to a feeling of complete relaxation that doesn't cause sedation, couch-like, but rather leaves you incredibly lazy. With these powerful effects, jet fuel is often a patient's choice for treating chronic fatigue, migraines, or tension headaches, chronic stress, mood swings, and depression. Jet fuel has a lumpy and flat heart-shaped olive green nugs with furry ambers, hairs decked in glittering amber crystal trichomes. So some of the flavors are diesel, piney, sweet. Effects are cerebral, energizing euphoria, focus, giggly, happy, uplifting. It relieves anorexia, bipolar disorder, chronic pain, depression, fatigue, headaches, migraines, mood swings, PTSD, and stress. I'm pretty stoned. Pretty good. 4 lessons from the legacy cannabis market to dodge disruptors. I really like this article. It's by Benzinga, and it's by Olivia Summers. In the cannabis industry, knowledge is hard won. Too often, the conversations I hear in the boardrooms among big business executives seek to compare the cannabis industry to others they are familiar with. From alcohol to healthcare, the mistake these executives make is thinking such juxtapositions provide any useful insight into the cannabis space at all. Cannabis culture, legacy operations, and history all have a direct impact on consumers' preferences and decision-making in ways that are not akin to any other market. Without authentic, intimate knowledge of these spaces, companies simply cannot succeed and instead disrupt the market in disastrous ways for independent operators. I agree. Based on my nearly 3 decades of cannabis business experience, here are 4 lessons from the legacy market every cannabis company should consider to dodge unhelpful big business disruptors and ensure a successful market staying in power. Big tech partners are only looking out for themselves. Always remember, Amazon is not your friend. I learned that a long time ago in the beer industry when we were trying to get them to bring our beer in. Just remember, they're convenient. That's why people, I think, use them. Pricing too, but always remember, big tech is not your friend. Some partnerships pay for themselves and replication, while others will cost you more than you bargained for. It is worthwhile to partner with consultants who have specialized expertise outside of your own knowledge base, such as by working with brand designers, search engine optimizations, SEO professionals, and strategic marketing firms. Invest outside skill sets that affirm and build out your brand. Avoid, like the plague, platforms and partners that seek to own your customer relationships like Amazon, Grubhub, and Dutchie. As I'll discuss further in depth in the next section in this article, whether it's advantageous to engage third-party sellers at all in the modern cannabis economy is ultimately questionable, and these platforms exist to take advantage of retailers that don't know better. Companies like Dutchie and others place all their financial risk on dispensaries by putting the dispensary's name, license number, and brand image on the line and providing very little in return. The dispensaries take on all the costs, legal fees, sketchy processing costs, and lose the important customer relationships they once owned. It's imperative to keep in mind your brand's value is directly tied to the unique consumer data you garner and are able to properly capitalize on. When dispensaries allow an platform to step in front of a customer in interactions, they lose access to both the data and ability to represent their brand according to developed standards. It is better for an overall brand to value and follow the lead of the legacy market and keep operations tight. Number 2, manage servicers in-house whenever possible. In the pre-legalization market, having oversight of business partners were literally life or death at times. Though the stakes aren't as high and prison time is not as likely in legal markets, keeping your operation under close control and outsourcing as little as possible is still good business practices. Take a delivery, for example. In the legacy market, delivery was a vital part of the illicit cannabis economy, as many consumers preferred having the plant delivered to them rather than risking traveling with it. The element of consumers committing a crime in transit has been absorbed in legal markets, and accordingly, we see a consumer preference for shopping in-store. Run the numbers yourself to assess the break-even point of delivery as a viable income stream, and do not take the word of big business or tech platforms concerning margins. If you determine delivery is worthwhile, which I doubt, keep the services under the umbrella of your dispensary so you can continue to own your customers' data instead of literally paying to give it to disruptive third-party services like California operator Ease. Keeping everything at one location from cultivation to sale is also a huge and decreases overhead costs and contributes to brand value by providing opportunities for unique on-site branding and events to build consumer interaction and loyalty. We'll dive more into this article. Number 3, proprietary strains still sell. Remember the days when you would drive 4 hours to see a grower and get a specific awesome strain you can only secure from them? The future, like the past, is the specialization of cultivars. Legacy growers participate in a process called pheno-hunting, which I've talked before in the past, on the isolating of specific flavorable traits in one cannabis plant, and then work to stabilize the strain and make the cultivar's effects relatively consistent from seed to seed. The process can take any number of cannabis plants' life cycles to complete, and according to the finished product, is singularly valuable. This is the process that has created every favorite cultivar you've ever consumed, from Larry OG to Sarah Diesel and everything in between. Doubtless, cannabis consumers have noticed every major retailer seems to have Girl Scout cookies and gelato on their shelves, but few have proprietary options to drive consumers to seek out their specific physical location. Specialization of the cultivars could even lead to the strain patenting in the coming years, and I predict those cultivators who stay true to the classic process of pheno-hunting, strain stabilization, and niche offerings will see better results than those without focus, dodge generalizations, pursue strain specializations. I like that. Consumers want experimental purchasing. Experimental? No, I'm stoned. Sorry, I can't even see so well. Consumers want experience purchasing. How about that? Testing out the merchandise by having a complimentary sample was an integral part of the dealer-consumer experience in the pre-legalization era. Yeah, it was. I always gave a nug to somebody to try my stuff. Cannabis sales are about more than product. They're about the experience elements that accompany consumption. Data shows experience-based purchasing can help a consumer's happiness. So incorporate interaction in your sales model and consider tangible activities that can boost interaction, unlike Illinois. Open a smoking lounge if your state permits, or allot a tasting area for special events like cannabis and chocolate pairing. Consider partnering with a local business and your next door sandwich shop to encourage growth in the local economy and cross-business pollination. If you've created proprietary products and kept operations centralized, I'm so baked, as previously outlined, people would feel encouraged to travel for specialized brand products and experiences. Having activities on site will be a boon for travelers, who will then in turn help spread the word of the ways you made it worth their time and effort to make the trek. Dodge those third-party services to eliminate potential sales and branding opportunities by stepping in front of your consumer interaction. Throw out big business playbook and keep it simple, silly. Revolutionizing retail or disrupting the market have become standard phrases in the big business pitching playbook, but they don't necessarily belong in the world of cannabis. I fucking agree. Big business thinks high THC content equates to better sales. They don't have an interest in understanding the culture. Oh my God, I agree. And often look down are dismissive of cannabis consumers. For these reasons and so many more, big businesses don't get cannabis. Oh, I agree. Luckily, you have an opportunity to dodge entire trailblazing mindset. Look back to the simple things that worked well with the legacy market and amplify your modify accordingly to find success in the legal market today. Remember foremost to always protect and prioritize your relationship with your customer base. It will differentiate your brand from those disruptive big businesses that will finally never understand stoner, burner, pothead culture. Such a great article. They understand me. I haven't had a hangover in a very long time. Thank goodness. And we've talked about hangovers before in this show. I haven't had one in a while, but some more info on does weed help hangovers?
Yeah. This is an article about how weed can help a hangover. I think it could, right?
I don't know. You tell me.
I'm really high right now. Wow. All right. Everyone who I'm gonna power through this. Bear with me. There might be some tongue ties. Everyone who drinks alcohol has experienced some form of a hangover. Alcohol can cause dehydration, which leads to headache and fatigue. It can also disrupt your sleep cycle, leading to insomnia or restless sleep that will only increase the symptoms of a hangover. There are many ways folks claim to use cannabis to help reduce symptoms of a hangover and feel better quicker. Here, we've compiled 7 common hangover symptoms and how cannabis may help best with them. Cannabis may help reduce nausea and vomiting associated with hangovers. It may act as an antiemetic, which will help reduce nausea and vomiting. One method that tends to work well in these cases is a cannabis tincture. A tincture is a liquid extract of cannabis that you can take by mouth. You can find tinctures with varying levels of THC and CBD, so you can choose one that works best for you. Cannabis will help relax your muscles and calm nerves to ease a headache. Tension headaches are often common with it's the most common kind of headache, and they can often be exacerbated by stress. Cannabis is a well-known relaxant, and it may help ease the tension in your muscles and calm your nerves. This can help reduce the severity of a headache. If you're dealing with a headache, you can use a topical rub containing cannabis and other natural pain-relieving ingredients to help reduce headaches and muscle soreness. You can also try inhaling cannabis through a vape pen or smoking it to help ease headaches and tension. And dehydration will also cause the headache too, so smoke some weed and drink some water. It will also help improve mood and enhance your sense of well-being. Alcohol can often cause mood swings and lead to feelings of depression and anxiety. Cannabis is known for its mood-lifting effects, and it can help improve your mood and enhance your sense of well-being. This might be helpful when you're feeling down after a night of drinking. If you're looking to add a little extra boost to your day when you're hungover, one trick is to try to inhale cannabis through a fast-acting vape pen. If you have a strain, indica-like effect on hand, it can be beneficial for depressive symptoms caused by a hangover. Cannabis can also help boost your metabolism and give you an energy boost. If you're looking for a way to fight off the fatigue and sluggishness of a hangover, cannabis may be the answer. Hangovers cause sluggishness because alcohol is a diuretic and can cause dehydration. In response, cannabis may help boost your metabolism. This is because cannabis contains cannabinoids that interact with the endocannabinoid system in your body, which can result in increased energy and reduction of fatigue. You can try using an edible product like gummies or a THC beverage. Also, cannabis can help you get a better night's sleep. One of the biggest problems with hangovers is that they can disrupt your sleep cycle. This can lead to insomnia or restless sleep, which can only make your hangover worse. How about it? Cannabis is a known sleep aid, and it can help you get a better night's sleep when you have a hangover. You can try using cannabis in different ways, such as smoking it before bed, vaping it, taking an edible, or applying a topical infused rub to your skin. And it can help cleanse your system. One of the benefits of cannabis is that it's a natural detoxifier. When you have a hangover, this can be especially beneficial because alcohol is a toxin and can cause inflammation in the body. Using cannabis as an anti-inflammatory may help you feel healthier after a hangover. Even if you're looking for a way to flush out the toxins, just trying a juice with cannabis or a cannabis-infused ingredient would help. It can also improve your appetite. Alcohol can cause dehydration and nausea, leading to a loss of appetite, which only makes your hangover worse because you'll feel more tired and more lethargic. Oh, gosh, they're awful. Cannabis is well known for its ability to give you the munchies, making it an excellent treatment option for hangover symptoms that affect your appetite, helping you increase your energy level and prevent you from feeling fatigued. And you could try cooking with cannabis products or consuming an edible product as well. Cannabis is an all-natural solution that can help to ease or prevent symptoms associated with hangovers. You can try using cannabis in so many different ways, such as smoking it before bed. Regardless of your choice of consumption method, if you're looking for a natural way to make your hangover a little easier, cannabis might be the answer. That's
Heck
interesting.
yeah.
Yeah.
Really good.
Because if you consume too much cannabis while you're drinking, that creates just an awful hangover that is all of these symptoms, but the thought of even smoking is like,
Right.
no way. But maybe if you did like a tincture where
Right.
it was real high CBD or real
Yeah.
high THC, it could knock out some
absolutely.
of the nausea. Pretty neat.
Pretty good stuff. We talked about mold. I told you I'd come up with some stuff about mold. And Mrs. Weedman's coming to get Yuki. We're passing her back and forth. The little baby's tired. So we talked about mold on the last episode. So I told you I'd find an article I had that I was going to talk about. So the most concerning mold out there is Aspergillus, which I've talked about before, which accounted for nearly 13% of all the 11,734 failed safety tests in 2021. Michigan is among the few states that test for Aspergillus, which can develop into a fatal lung infection. Any detection of the Aspergillus automatically disqualifies it for sales in Michigan. It's a risk, and it poses greatest risk because its spores can sit in the body undetected for years and then flare up when the immune system is weakened, said Dr. Jordan Tilshel, a faculty member of the Harvard Medical School and president of the Association of Cannabinoid Specialists, likens it to send seed sprouting after the runs dormant. So, that's one mold. There's states like Oregon doesn't test for Aspergillus, stating that the mold is so common in the environment that a person could pick it up in many different ways. Instead, the Oregon Health Authority has opted out to put cautionary label on products warning immune-compromised users of the risk. That sucks. Fungi is all around us also, from the bread that we got left out on the counter to the mushrooms on the pizza. Overwhelmingly, it's harmless to humans. However, most interactions with mold are through eating, which sends the fungi directly into an acid bath in the stomach. What the cannabis industry is left debating is what happens when the mold is ignited, inhaled, and seeps into the thin membrane of the lungs. Regulation in the cannabis industry should be stricter until there's enough data to rule out which types of molds are not harmful when inhaled or vaporized, Tisler said. The safest response is to regulate tightly, Tisler said. As you accumulate future data, you can relax those standards and the data support. Conversely, some believe that the fire used to ignite cannabis before it hits the lungs actually protects users by killing the microbes. Kason Coleman is Director of Quality and Processing at Carbidex, a group of Michigan cannabis businesses. She analyzes cannabis safety and standards across the nation, including making its person visits to labs her companies plan to use. She believes cannabis is overwhelming safety, but supports required testing for known pathogens, dangerous chemicals, metals, and abundance of mold. I have an immune-compromised spouse, so I think about these kinds of things, Coleman said. For the average customer that's not immune-compromised, this is not an issue. The process of combustion is going to kill everything anyway. You're probably not going to be exposed to enough mold spores to have a problem. Coleman noted studies conducted in other states indicated up to 20% of cannabis that's sold in dispensaries after passing state testing is found to have yeast and mold above the established thresholds. She also points to the decades-long history in the traditional market, smokers that hasn't led to a trend of lung infections. I don't think there's anything different today about the type of style or microorganisms attacking the cannabis plant that we're testing for than there was 30 years ago before anybody started testing, she said. Coleman noted that the other states like Washington don't test for total yeast and mold growth, only for forms known to be potentially harmful. They believe that the only harms are going to come from the pathogenic forms, Coleman said. I'm also in that camp. These things are not going to harm you. They may not taste good. They may not look pretty, but for the average consumer, it's pretty low risk. Mac Hyman, the quality manager at Iron Labs in Walled Lake, said lab tests for pesticides and popular fungicides used on plants that are known to be cancer-causing, but a lot of what's tested has unknown health risk. Everyone is afraid of combustion right now and how that's going to hurt you, Hyman said. I don't think there's a study of smoking the stuff versus eating it and ingesting it, which is really what needs to be researched. In 2016, an epidemiologist from the Center of Disease Control and Prevention analyzed health insurance claims from patients with fungal infections, looking to test for a correlation between cannabis smokers and the severity and frequency of infection. The study found cannabis smokers were 3.5 times more likely to develop a fungal infection compared to claimants who did not smoke cannabis. Those smokers were also more likely to be younger, immunocompromised, and hospitalized for the fungal infection. There are big variables to consider. How is the cannabis grown, the immune system of the user, and the additional substance abuse? Dr. Mai Lan King Han, Chief of Pulmonary and Critical Care at the University of Michigan, notes that most cannabis smokers are also tobacco smokers, so it's hard to separate the effects on a true control group. Even so, there isn't much data suggesting cannabis leads to several severe effects like the lung disease, emphysema often seen in cigarette smokers, Han said. The other X factor is time. Some use may have immediate allergic reactions if they're susceptible to mold, but other contaminants like heavy metals and pesticides might go undetected by the smoker until they accumulate and become cancerous. The lungs can actually take quite a bit of damage before you'll notice, Han said. Health compliance aren't easily accessible to the public, so little is known about the frequently consumers are experiencing negative health effects connected to licensed cannabis purchases. There are 22 health complaints specifically linked to cannabis that was part of a recall. The complaints were filed by both the retailers on behalf of the customers and the customers themselves. So the overreaching message from the medical profession is that we don't know what we don't know. So each joint is its own case study. As a lung doctor, when my patients ask me about cannabis, I usually just tell them do whatever you feel is right. I'm just asking you not to smoke it all the time, Han said. So, great article. Found some more about mold for everyone. So, yeah, let's talk about some political stuff right now. So, Representative Nancy Mace, Republican, South Carolina, and Barbara Lee, Democrat of California, teamed up on a bipartisan resolution calling on the Biden administration to use the voice, vote, and influence on the United States to deschedule cannabis from the International Drug Treaty and treat it similar to other agricultural commodities. Colorado Treasurer Dave Young spoke to the Marijuana Moment about a need to pass cannabis banking legislation and conversations he had with fellow state treasurers and members of Congress about the issue during a trip to Washington, D.C. White House Domestic Policy Counselor, Senior Policy Advisor for Criminal Justice Aaron Murphy reportedly met with cannabis industry officials to discuss possible cannabis reforms. Senate Majority Chuck Schumer tweeted, "The war on drugs has been war on people, particularly people of color. Our bill will end the federal prohibition, making criminal justice reforms and invest in the communities most impactful by the war on drugs." South Dakota Governor Christie signed 6 medical cannabis and hemp reform bills into law, including a measure to place a limit on medical cannabis home cultivation. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz included a revised fiscal projection associated with cannabis legalization provisions in his supplemental budget recommendations. California Governor Newsom appointed a new deputy director of public affairs for the Department of Cannabis Control. Illinois' Attorney General will host an information session on cannabis expungents and social equity opportunities today. North Carolina's House Speaker said he would be surprised if the Senate passed a medical cannabis bill. The Senate responded by tweeting, "Medical cannabis is a very popular idea. These powerful right-wingers do not represent the people of North Carolina. They consistently block progress," a representative tweeted. "North Carolinians are ready for legal, regulated, and taxed cannabis." I don't know about tax, but they want cannabis.
For sure.
Opposition to medical cannabis is harming our citizens in so many ways. The Kansas State Senate Federal and State Affairs Committee held several hearings on medical cannabis bill. Nebraska activists hosted more than 100 signatures gathering events for a pair of proposed medical cannabis ballot measures. New Mexico are readying for the launch of recreational cannabis sales on April 1st. Go New Mexico. The North Carolina Department of Justice held the first in a series of cannabis webinars it plans to host. Guam regulators will consider cannabis banking on other issues on Monday, which is today. Let's see, what else? There's so much political news. Utah Governor Spencer Cox signed a bill on doing state-based hemp regulations and requiring farmers to instead apply for licenses from the U.S. Department of Agriculture. Another North Carolina Attorney General tweeted about cannabis webinars in his office, and he's hosting it and should have a well-received viewers. Here's a bummer. Kentucky Senate Majority Floor Leader said he doesn't think there are enough votes in the chamber to advance a House-passed medical cannabis bill. Oh, man, Kentucky, you're breaking my heart. Iowa Senate leaders ruled a cannabis legalization amendment not germane to the legalization and that a lawmaker was seeking to attach it to. The Georgia Senate sent a hemp bill back to the committee after lawmakers noticed language that would have clarified that Delta-8 THC is legal. Separately, the Senate Health and Human Services Committee gutted the House bill and revised medical cannabis. Just brutal, man. Florida regulators filed emergency rules on trade names and logos used by medical cannabis companies. Nevada regulators held a public workshop on cannabis social consumption lounges. Man, need that. Everybody needs that. Let's see what else we got here. Report states that cannabis legalization has not increased in youth consumption. That's good to hear. 50 years ago, today, a federal panel said cannabis should be decriminalized, but a president who ran on reform still hasn't done it. It was the last Tuesday marked the 50th anniversary of federal by President Nixon, the drug on war, and really taking it to cannabis and scheduling and just, man, wiped everybody out. I mean, when Nixon appointed the so-called Schaefer Commission in the early 70s to research and issue a report on federal cannabis laws, most people expected to bolster the administration's position that cannabis was a dangerous drug that ought to be criminalized, but that's not what members concluded in their report. The panel, which was formerly titled National Commission of Marijuana and Drug Abuse, and that's spelled with an H, just so you know, found that while cannabis use might pose some health risks, the policy of the criminalization is excessive and unnecessary. The report from the 14-member commission, which had been appointed by Nixon himself, congressional leaders recommended decriminalization, a policy that is yet to be enacted federally, despite the fact that the current President Joe Biden endorsed it on the campaign trail. Man, I want to just eat it up. Just pisses me off because we all fell for it again, you know. So 50 years, the drug on war, just crazy. Federal cannabis legalization bill may receive House floor votes next, which is actually this week, sources say. I am just so tired to hear about the MORE Act. You know, I don't really like all of it anyway. I think it needs to be rewritten. I think the people need to vote on this, not the Senate or the House, because the Senate has their own bill. I don't like either one. There's a few things in both that are pretty decent, but most of it just sucks. You've heard me say it a lot of times. Free the plant, decriminalize it, don't tax it. You know, the federal government should just stay out of it. Just get it off to Schedule 1, pay Caesar what he wants. 2% of all sales in the United States will be enough. You already take enough money from all of us anyway. I'm done with all of your bullshit money taxing, and I don't even want to talk about it. I had a good talk with a friend of mine about what's going on in this country, and don't want to get political on everybody. Just feel they don't care about us anymore. So here's something really big. And this is big for Illinois because this is where they started. But Cresco announces plan to swallow Columbia Care in a $2 billion all-stock deal. Divestments to come in Illinois, Ohio, Massachusetts, and New York. This is a big deal. You're talking about, like, now Cresco is the biggest cannabis company in the United States. They overpassed Curaleaf. I don't, to each his own, but this is what you're going to see. You've heard me talk about it, that you're going to see the big, where a lot of these companies are going to get bought out and make them the largest companies. There'll be 10 companies, and then they'll get bought out by major companies that are waiting for federal legalization, sell for $30-40 billion, and then you're just going to be buying shit weed for the rest of your life. That's why I say free the plant, home grow. So big money, though. $2 bills. That ain't no joke. And a surprise, Jersey, the place I was born, legal weed sales delayed again, but the governor said it's going to happen, but the state panel says big applicants are not ready. Who cares about big applicants? We want small applicants. We want family-owned businesses running weed. We want dispensaries in the front, little cultivators in the back. That's my dream one day to do. With Mrs. Weedman and I want a little dispensary, grow my own weed in the back, hire a really good grower, grow good craft weed, good weed that people can come from all over and have the experience. Smoke shop next door. That is my dream. You don't need big applicants. You just need people growing great weed in your state, and let mom and pop shops happen. Colorado lawmakers reject bills seeking to prohibit employers from firing workers for cannabis use. Colorado, man, you just seem to be going downhill. I don't know what's going on with all these laws you guys are writing. Illinois lawsuit, cannabis licensing scoring favoring residents violates Constitution. Just more garbage, Illinois. It's just so sad. We can't just get anything done right. Here's something cool. Michigan, proud of you, sends $150 million in cannabis tax dollars to cities, schools, and transportation funds as official approved first social consumption site. Pretty good. Michigan, man, doing it right in a lot of ways. Some ways maybe not so, but in some ways you're doing it right. Just take care of those caregivers and they'll take care of you. Sales dip in Illinois, but high taxes boost traditional market. Taxes in Illinois for cannabis are absolutely fucking ridiculous. And eventually I knew this was going to happen 2 years into legalization, recreational, and people are tired of paying 40%, 36%, $120 for a half gram cartridge, or $130 for a full gram cartridge, and still paying $75 for eighths of weed. Is just when you go to your plug and do the traditional market and get it for $30. And it's great weed, probably just as good as the weed you're buying at a dispensary. You don't know where it's coming from, and you don't know if it's being tested or not. But man,
it smokes the same.
Yeah, it does smoke the same. I actually smoked some the other day from a friend of mine who got some really good shit from California. Oh my God, I was baked. You're a mom.
I am.
You're a cool ass mom.
Okay.
You are.
Yeah. Thanks.
Cool ass mom.
Cool ass mom.
Tell us about some momfluencers.
Yeah, I got this good story about cannabis users. Yes. Mom. Yes. Well, these are 4 pro-cannabis momfluencers that you should be following right now. As cannabis prohibition has become a thing of the past in several states, more people are feeling comfortable publicly talking about their cannabis use. For parents, however, this can be tricky. Even in parts of the country where cannabis is legal, the stigma around parents using cannabis persists, especially for women. But now more than ever, many women are breaking down stigmas and proudly showing that being a great mom and enjoying a toke are not mutually exclusive. In honor of Women's History Month, Green State is celebrating the trailblazing moms who are getting real about cannabis use on social media. Here are top cannabis-loving momfluencers who we're following right now. Number 1, Shanitria Anthony. Her handle is Blunt Blowin' Mama. And Sharita Anthony, her account is all about normalizing cannabis use for moms. Based in LA, Shanitria is a former editor for ABC News and Huffington Post. She also has a master's degree in journalism from Columbia. She created her account when she decided to stop hiding her cannabis use and couldn't find other women who were proud and open about their use of the product. She uses her Instagram account to promote helpful cannabis-focused workshops and even has official Blunt Blowin' Mama clothing. The second one would be Caitlin Fladiger. Her handle is Caitlin Fladiger, and she boasts over 600,000 followers, and she's a Vancouver-based social media influencer. She speaks openly about motherhood, mental health, and cannabis. Through her account, she primarily posts reels, using trending sounds to bring awareness to breaking the stigma about moms who use cannabis. Caitlin specifically talks about being open with her kids about her use of cannabis and why she feels it's important to do so. She also addresses society's double standard for moms, particularly when it comes to alcohol versus cannabis use. I agree with that big time.
Yep.
Ooh, water. It's a double standard. It's like you can joke, moms can wear a shirt that picking up their kids from school, it says it's wine o'clock somewhere, right? Implying that they would really like to have a drink at any time. Yeah. But if you had even the picture, an image of a blunt or, a bud on your shirt, oh, forget it.
Yeah, ripped
right?
up.
Yeah. Anyway, there is definitely a double standard. Number 3, Rachel Birkin, and her handle is Smoke Sip Savor. Rachel Birkin is a proud cannabis user with a background in culinary and hospitality. She normalizes cannabis use by sharing infused food and drink recipes that will appeal to just about everyone. In 2016, Rachel and her chef brother even co-founded a culinary cannabis hospitality and events company called Altered Plates. They've since worked alongside some of the biggest cannabis brands. Rachel and her family live in Los Angeles. 4 is Christina Cassidy Forbridge. Her handle is the Concierge. Christina Cassidy Forbridge's account provides advocacy and education for women, seniors, and those who are new to the world of cannabis. She destigmatizes cannabis use through her posts and offers consultation services virtually. She even hosts events for like-minded moms, like her Women's Weed Nights and Weed Weekend, but plug a D in there because I can't say it, retreats in the San Diego area. Through these events, she teaches about the latest cannabis research. She leads nature excursions and provides a place for women to bond over their cannabis use. Pretty cool.
Pretty cool, moms.
Check them out.
Moms.
Moms.
Women's History Month. Love it.
Mm-hmm.
Charlotte's Web enters UK CBD market. Going overseas. Good for you, Charlotte's Web. How the cannabis industry is showing up for those in need in Ukraine. Oh, I forgot to mention this is international news. Sorry, everybody. I'm stoned. How the cannabis industry is showing up for those in need in Ukraine. Sitting this one out is not an option. As the war in Ukraine carries on, much of the free world is standing behind the country and its leaders and its citizens and military battle Russians' aggression. Their way of life, their livelihoods, their culture, and the people are being wiped out. Their independence is at stake. We've seen industries from all corners of the world band together to show their support in various ways. Even the people of Russia who are getting arrested walking the streets. Let's not forget about them also. I don't believe that all of Russia wants this war happening right now. So I don't believe the Russian people are bad at all. Don't forget that. I don't think they want this. They're standing for and getting arrested and laying their own lives on the line to help Ukraine in the way they can. So let's not forget about them either. And it's no surprise that cannabis community has rallied around the cause. Unlike other industries having supply chain disruptions due to the war, the cannabis industry in the U.S. is mostly unscathed. But that doesn't mean it's untouched. Here, leaders of 3 California-based companies talked to Green Entrepreneur and about how they're hoping to helping the people of Ukraine and why it's so important right now. From San Francisco dispensaries to sunflowers, Misha Berberg takes the Russian invasion of Ukraine personally. The horror he feels as he watches his hometown of Odessa being blown to smithereens is almost too great as the CEO of San Francisco MediThrive dispensary. And as a Ukraine American, he was more than motivated to find a way to help out. War veterans helping feed Ukraine. Veterans own and operate cannabis manufacturing company, Hemland Valley Growers, already donated 100% of their profits to a good cause, veterans. But for now, until at least at the end of April, they're donating proceeds to the Jose Andres led World Central Kitchen, which has been on the ground feeding refugees from both Ukraine and Poland. Helping the most marginalized communities, Lime, a cannabis manufacturer in California, has decided to donate a portion of their March sales to Hope for Ukraine, a nonprofit organization dedicated to serving Ukraine's most vulnerable citizens. Well, God bless everybody out there that's helping everybody in the world. I mean, just need to pray for peace and love and put down your arms, and this is just ridiculous. You know, watching people die in the streets that, you know, whether you know them or not, just people around the world are dying. They're fighting for their freedoms, and, you know, sometimes it's just hard to watch. The Isle of Man, which I didn't even know where it was at, but it's just off Great Britain and the UK, and Isle of Man Medicinal Cannabis Complex, $100 million complex. It's pretty big. It's pretty legit. The BBC reported a $100 million complex of the Isle of Man to grow and export medicinal cannabis could be a game-changing. The firm behind the scheme has said. So good for them. It's a pretty big.
Is it the entire island?
No, it's just this island. It's just part of this island, but it's a big island. I never heard. I mean, didn't even know where it was at. But it looks beautiful from the pictures I was looking at. Japan sees record number of people involved in cannabis crimes last year. Nearly double the rate of people in Japan were involved in cannabis-related criminal cases compared to last year, a record for the country where 70% of offenders are in their 20s or younger. Japan saw a record of 5,482 people involved in cannabis-related criminal cases last year, an increase of 448 the previous year. With 70% of the offenders in the 20s or younger, overall, 5.6 individuals per 100,000 people were involved in cannabis-related offenses in 2021, which is nearly double the 3.0 rate in 2017. Crazy. It's just crazy to me it's not even legal. Japan's Cannabis Control Act criminalizes the import, export, or cultivation of cannabis, and simple possession carries a sentence of up to 5 years. 5 years. Like, it's just weird. They're so progressive in so many ways, and they just don't, like just give cannabis the shaft. Really weird. Possession with the intent to profit is punishable by up to 7 years imprisonment or up to a $2 million yen fine. Growing, importing, or exporting cannabis in Japan can be punished with up to 7 years in prison, and engaging in any of those acts with the intent of profit carries a punishment of up to 10 years imprisonment. Japan. Come on, man. You're my stoner soulmate.
Oh, hey.
You are.
Thanks.
There's a new dating app, though.
Yeah.
It's pretty fucking funny.
It's pretty funny.
The name of it's pretty fucking funny. Tell them about it, Mrs. Weedman.
Okay, meet your stoner soulmate on this new dating app. Get ready, singles. Weed lovers unite and meet smokeandpoke.com. That's right, ladies and gentlemen.
It's so bad.
Smokeandpoke.com. Yes, this is a dating website for enthusiasts to connect and build relationships. Do I sound like an infomercial? If you like to consume cannabis...
It's actually pretty good. They should
Wait,
hire
I'm not
you.
done. Hold on. Oh, that's it.
Start
I
again.
lost my mojo.
You could do it again.
Okay. If you like to consume cannabis, everything gets a little bit more complicated on traditional dating apps. It can be difficult to find other pot smokers on sites like Tinder and Match because of the stigma still associated with cannabis, says Jim Train. I'm sure he said it just like that. He's the vice president of Smoke and Poke. He was probably just cracking up.
Smoke and Poke.
Smoke and Poke, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, my God.
That's why we developed Smoke and Poke. .com. The launch of the site follows in the wake of a growing body of evidence proving love and cannabis are a perfect match, and helps destigmatize the negative connotation cannabis still carries on traditional dating sites. Cannabis users can seek out like-minded people on our site, using their appreciation for cannabis as a gateway to a relationship. They can hang out safely from the comforts of their own home. So, according to a recent poll, 55 million Americans use cannabis. Just a few. That is 22% of the United States population. So, for any of you people that are like, oh, I don't know anyone who smokes pot, well, you get to know your people better. because you know people who smoke pot.
And send them the smoke
I guarantee.
and poke.
The smoke and poke. That number only increased during the pandemic when cannabis use skyrocketed. Furthermore, recent studies have shown that cannabis can increase sexual libido. Get ready, people. Increase intimacy and act as an aphrodisiac. Esteemed Dr. Michael Eisenberg from Stanford University took a more clinical look into cannabis use and sex. He gathered data from the U.S. government's National Survey of Family Growth and found that the more people smoked cannabis, the more success they had between the sheets. Hey.
Ho.
Additionally, a recent study concluded that women who use cannabis more often have better sex. In fact, the study said increased cannabis use was associated with improved sexual desire, arousal, orgasm, and overall satisfaction. How's that for a sales pitch?
I don't know.
Smoke
and
weed.
poke.
Smoke and poke. .com allows people to sign up for a free account and conduct an advanced search for weed lovers in their area. They can filter between sexual preference, gender, age, and location. They can also toggle between users who currently are online or not with verified photos on their profile. They can communicate through chat, text, video chatting, or live streaming. People have been living more 420-friendly lifestyles. Smokeandpoke.com is perfect for people who puff, pass, and would like to do so with a special someone. We're the cupids of cannabis, adds Jim Train. Jim, you're funny. I want to see Jim. And that's Train with an E, in case you were wondering.
An E?
Yes. So check it out if you're single.
Smoke and poke. I thought it was funny as hell when
That
I
is so
sent you
funny.
That article. I was like, oh, we got to talk about it.
That's pretty funny.
We're not sponsored by these guys.
I mean, with that
nothing.
name,
it
it's
was funny
obviously-
as fuck. Smoke and poke is brilliant.
It had to be done with a sense of humor.
Oh, gosh.
Come on,
yes.
Smoke and poke.
Fucking been laughing about
That's
it since
funny.
I read the article.
That's great. So check it out.
After his mother accidentally served his weed brownies at a senior center. It's I'm pretty bummed about this guy, what happened to this guy. A South Dakota man has spent time in jail after his mother mistakenly served his weed brownies to senior citizens at a local community center.
Shoot.
I know. The Associated Press reports Michael Coranda, 46, has been ordered to spend 60 days in jail after pleading guilty to a felony drug charge. Additionally, South Dakota, this guy should not even be in trouble right now because you passed laws and you. Anyway, additionally, Coranda will have to complete 2 years of probation, pay more than $3,400 in court cost and restitution, and write an apology letter to the seniors who got sick from eating his weed brownies. How'd they get sick? Did they eat like 5 brownies each or something? You know, how strong did he make these brownies? After his sentencing, Coranda, who recently resigned from his role as a music teacher at the Bon Home School District, which sucks, he lost his job over it too, maintained that he didn't intend for anyone to eat the pot-infused brownies his mother accidentally brought to his senior center. I'm really sorry, he told the judge. This impacted so many in the community, and I'm sorry for that. So many people got sick, and this wasn't my intention for this to happen. As previously reported, Coranda was arrested on January 5th for possession of controlled substance after police received several calls about possible poisoning at the Tabor Community Center. After speaking with several of the affected seniors, authorities discovered that they had all eaten brownies brought by Michael's mother, Irene Coranda. Coranda admitted to the law enforcement that he bought THC butter back from a recent visit to Colorado. After making the brownies, Coranda alleges he went to bed, at which point his mother unwillingly took the brownies to her card game at the community. Man, what a fun game of cards that probably was. Michael admitted to bringing 1 pound of THC butter to make the pan of brownies. 1 pound. Oh, jeez, that's a lot of butter for one batch of brownies. And then went to bed. And his mother unknowingly took the brownies to the card game where several people ate them and started floating in the air and throwing cards on the ground. No, it doesn't say that. Sorry. Police said Michael said remaining ½ pound of butter was still in his house. So he put a ½ pound of butter in there. So at least this guy admitted it. You know, and didn't try to hide it and say, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. I don't know what my mother did with those brownies. You know, blamed it on her, and next thing she's in jail.
Right.
You know, but I feel bad for the guy because South Dakota is medical or almost medical, and it should have been recreational too because the voters voted for both. So this guy shouldn't be in any trouble at all.
Right.
In some ways.
In some ways.
Right. I mean, the old people floating in the fucking
Yeah,
center was having some fun.
That'd be kind of an entertaining party to be part of.
Yes, probably really funny.
What's going on here?
Well, Michael, we feel bad for you. Hopefully your mom's okay and all the people that ate those. They probably want more brownies. Going, that was the best feeling I ever had. Give me some more of those brownies, missus. Oh, man. Well, Yuki did really well for her first.
She. I know.
Yuki did very well for her first show. She's actually sleeping.
Yeah, she was having puppy dreams a little bit ago.
Puppy dreams. So I'd also like to dedicate this show to a very good friend of mine who passed away, my mentor, coach, and guide for the last 8 years in a lot of ways. His name was, we called him JD. So JD, rest in peace. Hopefully you're smoking some big fat joints, drinking a shot of tequila and some Coors Banquet. We'll miss you terribly. I'm going to miss my couple of times a month talking with you, brother. To you and your family, God bless your soul, and rest in peace, my friend. Oh, you'll be missed always in my heart. Mrs. Weedman, you got anything else to say?
No. Rest in peace, JD.
Rest in peace. Hey, everyone out in the world, we love you all. Hopefully you're smoking some big fat doinks out there in the world of weed. Don't forget to check us out on all our social media handles. Weedman 420 Chronicles on Instagram, Weedman 420 Pod and Talk to Dovboy on Twitter, Weedman 420 Chronicles on TikTok, Weedman 420 Space Chronicles YouTube channel. Check it out if you haven't seen it yet. It's pretty funny. We love it. Email weedman420chronicles@gmail.com. We got some big things coming up, folks. Get ready. As Paulie always says, smoke smart. Puff, puffing away.
Puff, puff, pass.